Well, I am here today with Aadvantage Heating and Air System and Ethan, who runs that business, because we have a need to have our heating and air replaced. So because we're here and they're here, I thought it'd be great to have him answer some questions, because I thought it might be helpful for you to know. So Ethan, thanks for coming today.
No problem.
We're thrilled about getting this old system of ours replaced.
Yes.
It's about time. Our system
Yes,
here is
it
about
was.
35 years old, right?
Mm-hmm, that's correct.
And it's been working fine, but we had a little problem this week in the middle of, life things happening. And that's usually when it happens, but our...
Never in time for it to fail.
That's right. And so it started dragging and it wasn't cooling well, so we called you. So I have a couple questions I want to ask you. And first of all, explain to us what HVAC really stands for, because I use that acronym a lot in my business, and home inspectors use it on inspections.
Yes.
So explain what HVAC means.
HVAC is just an abbreviation for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So, it's a lot to sum up if you say it all at once. Let's check your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Let's just check your HVAC. Keep it simple and short.
Absolutely. Good. Well, so on my home inspection reports, I often see the inspector will say, if your heating and air system is more than 10 years old, it's approaching the end of its natural life.
Yes.
What are your thoughts about that?
There's a rule that we kind of stand by that, your typical HVAC system lasts anywhere from 10 to 15 years, which is a good round number to give anyone an estimate. We don't have a crystal ball. Now, your systems here are 35 years old, but they just don't make them like they used to. We transitioned the market from quality to quantity, and so now we're seeing that 10 to 15 year lifespan on a traditional HVAC system now.
So how much does a traditional HVAC system typically cost to install?
Well, it varies between the size of the system and what your needs are for the house. But, your typical, let's say, 3-ton system, average cost can run you anywhere from, $7,500 to $8,500. Here in the state of Oklahoma, you live somewhere else, you're going to pay a little bit more. But that's average between a small to moderate business company. Your prices can range anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000, on a higher end of company that has a lot of overhead.
Well, and I will say it's important to use a reputable company, somebody that you know and trust or have been referred to.
Yes.
And we've been working with Aadvantage for many years. They came highly recommended to me.
Well, good.
And what I appreciated when I first came in contact with your business was you were a big believer in fixing it if it can be fixed.
Yes.
Where a lot of other companies are quick to say it needs to be replaced, and I
That's
appreciated
right.
that. Now we need it replaced, and here you are.
Yes.
So, at what point would you say it's time to go ahead and jump in and get it replaced, or is it better just to go ahead and get it serviced? And how often do we need it serviced?
Well, those are two very good questions. My thoughts on when a system needs to be replaced, you have your fan motor that, may go out once or twice in its lifetime, or a capacitor or contactor may need to be changed. But, those big ticket items like a coil or a leak in a coil or a bad compressor, that may be the time to say, let's go ahead and rethink the situation and not pour thousands of dollars into the system. And let's go ahead and invest into upgrading the system at that point.
Yes.
Because it's money.
Right.
lost.
And I appreciated that you did not pressure us to do that before we were ready to do that.
You're right.
and it's really works really great for us for a very long time, more than we expected. But so how to maintain the life of this system, how often should we have it serviced? And what does that typically cost?
So the what makes or breaks the life of the system and how long it needs to be serviced, that's one of the things is routine maintenance, having it twice a year maintenance, once in the fall, once in the spring, checking the heater out, making the heaters good to go, being preventative, and then in the springtime coming out and checking the AC, being preventative then, hey, we're seeing this starting to go wrong or this starting to happen, let's go ahead and proceed to fix it before it becomes an issue in the heat of the summer or the dead cold of the winter, you know.
And then how much is one of those service calls typically?
A typical tune-up for a one system is about $89.
Oh.
You know, you'll see some companies do specials where their specials are $89, but we just are a standard flat rate. $89, we come out, check it out. But we do have a maintenance program where we come out twice a year, and that does entail some extra benefits on top of that. So, you know.
I have a quick question too. You know, when I see these inspection reports, I often see that, you know, it's important to have the heating and air system serviced because they didn't see a sticker on there that showed that it had been serviced in the last year. So do you always put a sticker on the system when you have it serviced, or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. We do have maintenance reports that we give you, and you can just make a file out of it. We keep those in our system as well. So every year when we come out and check, if we're seeing something get worse and worse, we can progressively see that through our charts and checks.
Okay.
And so that way, you know, hey, last year this was this, and this is what we're seeing this year. Maybe it's advisable that we do this fix to prolong the system. You know, so that's when those maintenances come into place. Placing a sticker on it is just a reminder for the last HVAC guy, yeah, or the homeowner as well, yeah.
So,
who was here last, you know?
Yes. Well, are there any tips and tricks that we should know to help extend the life of this system? Because I know you mentioned one to me earlier, and what is that?
That is filters. Filters are 100%.
Replace your filters every year
forget.
Or more often?
You know, it depends, because there's an array of filters out there. Everybody thinks that buying the high efficient filters that pick up the dirt and allergens are like the best. But in reality, they are, but you have to change them more often. We say every month. So, you know, $37 a month to change out a filter can get pretty pricey. Well, then it gets restrictive on the system as well. So we just say every 90 days with your basic pleated filter, nothing crazy. Every 60 to 90 days, they're about $14 a piece. So, you know.
Extend the life of that system is worth it, because it is a big ticket item at the end of the day.
It has become one of the biggest ticket items here in just home maintenance, you know. What's the one thing? Sewage, you know, plumbing, and then you have your HVAC, and electrical. So, you know, keeping up with those is prime, you know.
And then I have, I know you got a lot of work to do, so I appreciate your time, but I have one more question. And what are the signs that we would need to know? Well, I have two questions, sorry. What are the signs that we would need to know to contact you to have our system checked?
You know, there's a lot of things that can go into play there. Nowadays, we require safeties to be put on the systems. So there's certain things that'll make thermostats go blank, you know, indicating that something is going on with the system. Hey, my thermostat's, I can't get it to come on. Well, we come out, we know exactly what we're looking for, because that safety has caused the thermostat to go blank. Or, you know, basic keeping up with your carbon monoxide detectors, like we kind of talked about. Keeping up with those, you know, is a key as well, because when we get into older system, I've been in this industry 17 years, so I have seen a heat exchanger crack right out of the box, and I've seen a heat exchanger crack 20 years down the road. So keeping up with carbon monoxide detectors
will help mitigate that.
Will help keep you safe. And, you know, just in general, you know, letting you know that there's something wrong with the system. And those are not common, but you see them quite a bit where they are cracked. And you can have hairline cracks. And
that would be a serious issue.
Yeah, it would, yeah.
So that's great information. My last question for you, so I can let you get back to work, is do you do just inspections on systems, like for home inspections when people are going through a process of
Yes,
purchasing
we deal with a lot of realtors in the area, and we come out. We do, instead of the $89 like you would do on a basic tune-up, we do a full report for $75, you know. give a little bit of a discount there to get in the door and make sure everything's taken care of. We have a full report for the homeowner to know
Excellent.
where they're standing.
That's great.
A
That's
heater
great.
and air conditioner. We do them both all at that one time.
Perfect.
So that way you start off fresh, you know where you're at.
Well worth
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Ethan, thank you so much for being
You're
here. They're called Aadvantage, a great company. I can't recommend them enough. And they've brought a whole crew here today, and they'll probably be done here later today or tomorrow.
Yes.
And again,
Hopefully.
thanks. Thank you so much.
You're